over a little bit of that if time permits. I've just got 20 minutes for my part. Somebody gave me this little story and I liked it, so I'll share it. And it's not a surprise with my work audience that I have a lot of farmer stories. But Farmer Joe decided his injuries from the accident were serious enough to take the trucking company, it was their fault, to court. In court, the trucking company's fancy attorney was questioning the farmer. "Joe, did you not say at the scene of the accident that I'm just fine?" questioned the attorney. Farmer Joe responded, "Well, I'll tell you what happened. I had just loaded my favorite mule, Bessie, into the I did not ask you for details. Answer the question. Did you say at the scene of the accident that I'm just fine?" Farmer Joe started again. "Well, I had just got Bessie in the trailer and I was driving down the road. Judge, I am trying to establish the fact that at the scene of the accident, this man told the highway patrol on the scene that he was just fine. Now, several weeks after the accident, he's trying to sue us. I believe that this is a fraud. Please tell him to simply answer the question." By this time, the judge kind of got interested in Farmer Joe's answer, and he said to the attorney, "I'd like to hear about what he has to say about his favorite mule, Bessie." Joe thanked the judge and proceeded, "Well, as I was trying to say, I had just loaded Bessie, my favorite mule, into the trailer and was driving her down the highway when this big semi-truck and trailer ran the stop sign and smacked my truck right in the side. I was thrown into the ditch. Bessie was thrown all the way across the road into the other ditch. I was hurting real bad, didn't really want to move, kind of halfway knocked out. However, I could hear old Bessie moaning and groaning just all the way across the street. I knew that she was in terrible shape just by her groans. Shortly after the accident, a highway patrolman came to the scene. He could hear Bessie moaning and groaning, so he went over to her first. He looked at her, took out his gun, shot her right between the eyes. Bam! 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 He came across the road, guns in his hand. It's cocked, still smoke coming off of it. "Your mule was in terrible shape. I had to shoot her. How are you feeling?" I told him I felt just fine. Household and structural pests will be next, and I'm going to move quick. Two things in preface to this. Anytime that you're using chemicals indoors, you always need to read labels, but you need to double, quadruple read the labels on indoor use, because it needs to be labeled for indoor use and you need to use it properly. You're going to see a lot of these where baits are recommended over sprays. Baits often work better, they work more long term, they work more effectively, and with a bait, you're only, you're letting the insects do the movement for you rather than just spraying willy-nilly everywhere. When we talk about IPM, that stands for Integrated Pest Management. Integrated Pest Management. Prevention, inspect and monitor least hazardous pesticides, and we target those to areas not accessible to people and pets. Prevention, lots of insects like moisture. Get rid of moisture any way you can. Seal cracks, crevices, plumbing, electricity, screening, weather stripping, and of course we can see a big critter could get through that hole. You can see light, it's not sealed properly. If you burn wood, stack it away from your structure, even if it's a few more feet with your wheelbarrow to get it to the house, because that is a great place for insects to hide. And you will see a big program by the Forestry Service about, either get local firewood or buy it already treated, that insects can be spread by firewood, and you'll see lots of things about that. Some places you cannot bring your own firewood. You have to either purchase it there or it has to be kiln dried.
I mean state line where they can't move it.
Some states have gotten that serious, most haven't, but they're like the National Park System.
North Carolina.
that you cannot bring wood. You have
When
to
I
purchase
tried
it there.
to get it from last winter.
And trim trucks, shrubs, and trees away from the walls and the roofs. Lots of things like sweets, and they like oils, and they like sugary things, so try to keep any kind of grease or sweets cleaned up real well. You can make a sticky trap out of contact shelf paper, turn sticky side up.
They make a really good sticky trap paper. It's about a foot wide and 30 foot long. Sells for like $7 at
Yeah.
Tractor Supply. It works great.
And that way you can kind of have an idea of what you're dealing with. The pheromone traps, we already talked about those on the outside. Okay, kind of ditto on the inside. They do make those little black light, purple light traps for flies and things like you see in restaurants. They make those in a homeowner size. They work well. Mechanical control, vacuuming up with the shop vac with soapy water in the bottom of it. Mouse traps, obviously, where kids and other things don't go get into them. Least hazardous material, this is not the pesticide class, but the signal words are always in all capital letters. Caution is the mildest. It's caution, warning, danger. There's 3 levels. Caution is the mildest. Crack and crevice treatments, a lot of houses, that's what you have to do, is do crack and crevice type treatments. Keep records, a lot of things happen at the same time every year. Ants, if you talk to pest control people, they are their #1 call. Most of the time, ants react to baits better than they do sprays. Baits usually work better. This is the life cycle of an ant, and all the workers are females. Do not get into that discussion on whether that is in the human world or not. We're not going to go there. But that is the life cycle. This one, baits only. You will see that on lots and lots of ants. Use baits. These get along well. They have no aggression. They're happy-go-lucky. They love everybody. They're not aggressive. They're not territorial at all. This is the most common house invading ant. They often come in after a rain. Taro Ant Killer 2, the Roman numeral II, that product is still out, still available. I saw some at Lowe's just the other day, probably a lot of other places. I don't have Lowe's, don't have stock in Lowe's, but that's a sweet bait. It's a borax. It works real well, and it works a lot better than sprays. Here's a common mistake. I have ants in my kitchen. The first thing I need to do is go buy some Ortho Home Defense or some Tempo or some other barrier spray, and I need to spray outside the wall to keep any more ants from getting in. What have you just done? They're not going to go back outside. You just locked them in because you put a barrier spray down. So if you get your infestation totally taken care of, then put a barrier spray down, but don't do it while they're already in there. Super common mistake. Alright, fire ants. I will only, no, that's not my computer, okay. They are in 3/4 of Tennessee. That's about a good way to put it. They're almost here. They're not yet. They are in Hamlin County. You probably have them yet, and just not big numbers. Okay, the ones that we have are a hybrid. They are hardy to 10 degrees below zero. They will get 4 feet in the ground. We will probably be never -10, 4 feet deep. So they are going to be here. The latest prediction is that they're going to get all the way as far as Lexington, Kentucky in 15 years. Don't know if that'll happen that fast, but that's the latest prediction. They can be dealt with. They've been dealing with them south of here for 50 years, so they can certainly be dealt with. Without going into a big epistle, basically there's a 2-step process. One is to put a bait that has a growth regulator in it that sterilizes the queens. She still lays eggs, but they are sterile. And then after you do that for about 2 or 3 weeks, then you kind of find the individual mounds and actually put poison on the mounds. And it takes both of those to be effective. You're not going to totally get rid of fire ants in any situation, but you can keep them under control. My dad and brother live in the southern part of West Tennessee. It's about 20 miles from Mississippi line. They've had them 30 years. They treat all the time. Does he occasionally stir up one when he's gardening? Absolutely, yes. Maybe they'll get stung one time a year. Maybe. It's just like a wasp almost. It's just a nuisance for some people, and it's really a big deal for others. But they absolutely can be dealt with. But we're just going to have to learn to live with them, because that's the bottom line. This is a hardy one, and it is not going to get froze out and stop expanding. It's just going to keep expanding. Bottom line.
Are there different varieties like the fire ant, but not as bad?
There's a red, there's a black, and there's a hybrid. Ours is a hybrid.
Red and black, yeah.
And you can't really tell by looking. The hybrids is what we have. Right now, the Tennessee Department of Ag may treat if you find them. And the reason I say may, until we had this hybrid, they could slow them down pretty significantly. Now, they give up a county in about 2 or 3 years. They used to give them up in 10. Because this one is just such a whole different critter. But if you have them, at least let somebody know. You can't really tell by looking, but if you're in doubt, get it to an extension office, get them identified. A couple of things, and I'll get your question in a second. A couple of things that has worked for me. First of all, most ants, the business end is pinchers on the front. A fire ant, the business end is a stinger on the back. The other thing, in a regular ant colony, everything above the ground is all one size. Everything's all one size. In a fire ant mound, a lot of times, they all look like ants, but you'll see 2 or 3 different sizes up above the ground. A combination of those 2 things has worked for me, but they're going to be here, so you might as well get ready. Yes.
University of Florida's been working on that for
Oh,
about
yeah.
40 years, and I think they're almost equivalent with the biological.
They're getting there. Yeah.
It eliminates them. It's
Yeah.
I believe it's a fungus or something that attacks.
There is a ton of research being done on it. And I'm actually testing, and right now it looks real promising, a kit that a company is putting out, and basically it works just kind of like a pH strip test with a swimming pool or something. If you crush them up and put them in this solution, got to be careful. That strip will come up with the little bars, and it's positive if it's a red or a hybrid, and it seems like they've about got that perfected. So at least we're going to know right away with that cheap test. It's only about $15 if it's a fire ant, without having to do a whole ton of. But anyway, we'll get on. Roaches, boy, everything's favorite thing to talk about, I know. But baiting works best on most all of those. Bait.
Or castor works remarkably.
Yeah. That one is the filthiest cockroach. Now, I'm not sure what graduate student got the wonderful research job of finding out which one was the filthiest, but you're pretty low on totem pole if you're the filthiest cockroach. Baiting, again, that's the biggest thing I'm getting after. Okay, flies, obviously, moving target. Basically, sanitation, exclusion, destroy the habitat, and traps. Mosquitoes don't have to have much standing water. They do make these little mosquito dunks, DUNKS, or white, powdery like. They work great. Work super good. Just put it out in the water. Got several homeowner associations that have ponds. Those little granules has just been a godsend for them. I mean, it's a little money, but hey, I mean, they're able to set out and not get bit by mosquitoes. And
Do they hurt the frogs?
no, does
Fish
not hurt
either.
any aquatic organism at all. It's an amazing deal. Your dog can drink the water and everything else. Doesn't hurt fish. It's a neat.
Dunks.
There is a repellent that will work with your body chemistry somewhere, someplace. Won't say anything about bed bugs except you really need to get a professional if you get them. Yes, they sell all kinds of stuff, and if you put diatomaceous earth down and they crawl through it, it will penetrate their skin and it will kill them. But I mean, what's the odds of 10,000 bed bugs crawling through, the diatomaceous earth that you put out? Bottom line, unfortunately, it's made old mattresses and furniture pretty worthless. It's just a sad situation. But you really need to consult a professional if you truly get a bed bug infestation. You used to spend some time on fleas anymore. But you should not have fleas on your pet. Okay, if you do, you need to get another vet. Okay, because there is food additives, there's shots, there's everything else. You can keep fleas off your pets. There's going to be fleas in every landscape as long as we have as many squirrels and deer and rabbits and everything else that we have. They are going to be out there, and ticks the same way. But that should not affect us at all from being outside. Repellents will work. Most time, yellow jackets, you find them with the lawnmower, and I know every one of us has done it. Yeah, we're all, oh yeah, I can still think about it. Remember, there can be two entrances. Use like a Delta dust or some kind of insecticidal dust, or even a liquid. Don't put diesel fuel and kerosene. I mean, think about the water table, folks. Don't do crazy stuff like that. You can eventually get rid of them. They are tough to get rid of, but you can. European hornets a lot of times will bang into windows at night. Spiders, real shy. Very difficult to do any spraying for, and a extermination company will tell you that. Spiders walk like this, and they're just very different. Not to make anybody give you the willies, but I had an entomology professor tell me we were within 6 feet of a spider at every point of our life, inside or outside, whether we knew it or not. So they're here.
And if you use a bug bomb underneath the house, the company will actually yell at you for doing it.
Yeah. So, but anyway, very rare to get issues. Last one I'm going to talk about, and we'll just wind up and let everybody look at that other one, is a brown recluse. Okay. They're called a violin spider because right there on the top of them it looks just like a violin. It's identical. Their venom is actually a cytotoxin. It eats flesh. And normal, or for some crazy reason, they love sweaty shoes. Don't know why anything would love sweaty shoes, but they seem to love sweaty shoes. And if anybody has ever seen anybody that's been bitten by one, it's nasty. Occasionally they'll get in pretty big numbers. I don't know why that is. Pest control people will tell you not to scare anybody, but if you see one, sometimes they can, now when I'm talking about big numbers, I'm not talking about thousands, okay? But sometimes you can get them in 10s and 12s. So, not sure whatever you use is for indoors, but that one's the one that kind of gets everybody's attention. Carpet beetles real common if you are leaving a lot of old pet food around. So make sure you keep pet food cleaned up. I'm going to talk about that one. Last thing here is pest on food. Indian meal moth is the most common one. It gets on lots of flour and meal, and that has nothing to do with the grocery store being nasty. Trust me, they're inspected. They're pretty clean. It's just when, you know, when they get stored in warehouses with thousands of tons of stuff, occasionally you will get one. So pest-proof containers. Some people will keep stuff in the bottom of a refrigerator. But, and if you see stuff buzzing around the onions, don't buy them that day. I mean, you know, don't bring them home. All right, any questions about anything super quick, because I'm into Jack's time. Yes, sir.
Sweat bees, any control or?
Wished I had a magic answer. The repellents that seem to work good for mosquitoes and stuff doesn't seem to bother sweat bees at all.
They love my elbows.
Yeah, and I do not have a good answer. If somebody else might, I wished I did. Some of the lawn mowing crews that I know, they will have dryer sheets stuck in their hat, stuck in their shirt collar, stuck everywhere, and of course they get sweaty and they replace them. I mean, I know a guy that buys them by the case, and they swear that they help. Whether they truly do or not, I don't know, but it sure wouldn't hurt it. It might make you smell daisy fresh, you know. But if you find an answer to that one, you let Jack know, and we'll market it. We'll go to Shark Tank, and we'll be rich if we find a sweat bee repellent.
Are you leaving?
I am leaving.
Can I get one?
You need another one? Yes. Anybody else need an extra copy of my
I do,
handouts? And I can get others to Jack if you get home. I did want anybody missed to get a copy of them.
Leave one also.
I'll leave one of all of them. All right, thanks everybody, appreciate it, and we'll turn it over to Jack. Stuff's out there.
Start these down on this side. These are just some handouts. They're really not to follow on the lesson, but just as a point of information, they are UT publications that I think you'll find very useful at home as far as plant
Just close that. I'm
disease.
taking these out. Just close it all up. Yeah.
If I discover I need them,
Yeah,
I'll make
just
some
follow
copies. I'll just make some copies.
We got one more.
Everybody get one of each? Did everybody have enough? Is there nothing around? Well, our next topic is going to be pathology. This is plant diseases, whether they be of a bacterial issue or a viral issue. So, Dr. Alan Wyndham, one of our colleagues with the university, was kind enough to formulate a presentation just for master gardeners. So, we'll go ahead and start. Hope the battery's not dead.
Do you is this an actual manual that you can find online?
Jack would be better off just close down the slide and reopen it.
Class of January,
It is.
are you gonna leave the online resources page up for a few seconds so we can write it down?
Yeah, it's part of the pre.
Really fast.